Hey everybody, gonna do another tutorial here. Thought about doing something different. Been focusing on, I've put up a few head time lapses, and I did the one head that's just a little run through of how I do it. I thought, repetition is the best way to learn anything, and I sort of feel like doing another head. So I thought I will try doing a little bit more of a stylized head today and just walk you guys through that. I'm going to do this one. I did a little elf head or a goblin head that I put the time lapse up last week, and I thought I'll go ahead and maybe do something similar to that and just see how it goes. I part of the reason I want to go ahead and do more than one head tutorial is, one, the head is really hard to get down, and it might help to see many different versions of me going through, because they're all, no matter what I come up with, getting to the end is pretty similar no matter how differently the shaped the heads are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and walk through this again, and starting out with a Z sphere or a sphere 3D. Just chose it from here and then made it a poly loop mesh so that we can sculpt on it. And then coming over to the move brush, and these here will expand and contract. So I'm going to drag this up there, and then going to come down to the move brush. And this is basically how I rough out just about any head. This is the front. I'll start out like just like I did a second ago. Sort of lengthen it a little bit. And then I generally will then come with the move brush and from the side view. And I'm going to make this one a little more stylized, so I just want to show you guys you can like really mess with this, with the shape. And then this is the profile. It's going to be really odd. And then I'm going to come on over, and fairly early on I'll go ahead and Dynamesh, leave it at a low resolution. I just want to be able to do a little bit to it. And I'm grabbing the trim dynamic brush, just almost like you're carving a little bit. A little bit smaller. This is his jawline. And then almost always the first thing I'll do, grab the clay buildup. I'm going to turn the intensity up so it'll mess with the mesh a little bit more. And then I'll just figure out about where I want the eyes to be. Go ahead. Turn it down a tiny bit. Yeah, the first thing I almost always do, and I'm just smoothing it there by holding in the shift key. First thing I always do, figure out where I want the eyes to be. Figure out where that in-between part is, the brow ridge. Then I'll just make these marks just so I know where the shape of the skull is under there. Just clear out this little bit. I like to go ahead and just figure out about where the eye sockets are. This guy's not going to have huge eyes. Smooth it out a little bit. You can Dynamesh too. And then after that, I usually I like to come down and just give myself an idea of where the edge is under the cheekbone. You'll notice I'm pretty near using nothing but my clay buildup brush. And once I've got things about where I want, so he's going to have a very odd profile. But it's all, it doesn't even matter. It's like no matter how weird you're going to be making the guy or woman. This is a male. You just sort of do the exact same thing. Sort of block in where the nose is. Just sort of work my way down. That's where the mouth is going to be. It's kind of a fairly small mouth. And then after I figure out where the mouth's going to be, I'll make it's almost like a W shape. I do like that. And then just soften that up some. I'm going to go ahead. I need a little bit more resolution here. I need more. Up the resolution and Dynamesh again, just so I can put a little bit more detail in here. Sort of moving it around until it looks interesting. Then about this point I like to grab just whatever. You could use the damn standard. I really like these mock cut brushes by Michelangelo Hernandez. I got these off of, I think I bought them on ArtStation or something at some point. They're really good for just getting this sort of V cut in there. Just give an indication of where the nostrils will be. Mesh. And this is why you want to always look at every angle, because it's really odd looking through there. So we get these lips sort of an angle. I always like putting in this, make sure this is well defined. A little bit of fat and muscle, I guess. The edge of the mouth. Here I want to make sure I don't have lazy mouse on because I want to sort of sketch with this now. And back to the clay buildup, because it's a really good brush. Down the lazy mouse on that a little bit. I like using this. You can use any brush. I'm holding down the Alt key, so instead of digging in, it's giving me a nice sharp sort of line. Just smoothing it out a little bit. not sure if this is really as much of a goblin as I was picturing to begin with. I'll make it a little more goblin-like. Sometimes it helps give things a little bit of a more of an not quite human feel by building up some of the area in between. Eyes. And I actually make the mouth look a little bit less human. This always helps to make things look a little bit more alien, is to get rid of the, what do you call it there? The lip. Might help to go ahead and almost get rid of the whole idea of where you can see his lips. Just getting the edge on the nose in there a little bit better. You always want to be turning everything, make sure it doesn't look weird from the angle. Or just not weird, but off. Sometimes you'll notice where it's just got an odd lump from a different angle. And we're in mostly on these first couple of tutorials I'm doing on here. I'm intentionally not getting into any sort of detail work. I just want to focus on the big shapes and laying things out. Because it's easy to get bogged down in all the little details really early on. And you can end up with really weird shapes underneath, and then you go ahead and put the details on, and there just isn't a lot you can do at that point. So you really want to focus on the underlying shapes. Yeah, he's pretty weird looking. Interesting. And this is a good point to go ahead and put the ears in. I like to just use one of the little insert meshes and then turn the Z intensity down a little bit so that when we drop it in there, it's not quite a sphere. And that's just centering it on the piece and in space, I guess. Yeah, like you can hold down the Alt key, then you can move around the gizmo if you need to. Let's see. Give this guy sort of smallish ears. And then I'm gonna make sure before I do this, I'm gonna hit groups because it's still part of the same subtool. And I'm gonna drag off, that'll clear the mask. I'm gonna drag off and hold down Control and drag off the mesh. And that Dynameshed all of it without making them one piece. And just like on every other time, I start out ears this curve, and then I like to draw in a little bit. And then I need to make sure here real quick I've got back face mask on, or else it'll, if this is thin enough, drawing on it will start pulling this side in. You don't want that. Yeah, then I'll go ahead and make the dish of the ear. I'll come back over here, make sure I got this in. Build this up a little bit. Then I'll just sort of push it to about the right shape. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag off Dynamesh again. I'm going to hold in Shift, and I'm just tapping to smooth it out a little bit. I'll come in with the Move brush. Pull that out, and later on I'll merge it with the head, but not yet. Just want to make sure we got it about the way we want it. I'm going to make sure I got Mask by Polygroups on so I can just grab the ear. Okay, and now I'm going to hold Shift and Control and click on whichever part you want, and it'll hide the rest. I'm just going to real quick hollow out the back of this. Give it that sort of dish shape that ears generally have. Then I'm going to smooth it out real quick. And then hold in Shift Control, click off again, and bring back the head. Let me go ahead and come back over here to the Insert Multi-Mesh. Go to Insert Sphere. Make sure I got my Z intensity back up all the way so that when I drop his eye in, it's an actual sphere. And then hold in Alt. And you see it unlocks, it shows you can now do stuff. Then click on that, and that resets the orientation. Click on this, and it goes to the center of the mesh that's unmasked. So on the eyes, it goes to the dead center of the sphere, which is what we want. I'm just going to move it up in there. And I really sort of like him not having, actually, I'll make him a little bit bigger. I'm going to click on that and then click off of the mesh control, and then click Shift Control, click off to bring back the head. And then I'm clicking, a lot of clicking, hold down Control, click off, and now I've reversed where the mask is. Sort of want to make his eyes a little bit bigger. Before I distracted myself, I was about to say I sort of like him not having eyelids. That's sort of a neat look, so I think I'll leave it like that. Just sort of glancing around on him now to see what I want to do to make his face a little bit more interesting. And you can do pretty much anything with ZBrush, and then you can always go back. So it's terrible. Don't like that. Actually, I'm fairly happy with where he is. tweaking little bits here and there. Sort of want to draw his mouth back a little bit more, so I'm just going to move it around using the move brush. Okay, and then real quick, I'm gonna, first let's make sure I've got, I'm setting it to coloring, RGB is color, M is material. I'm setting it to both. And then I'm going to come up here to color and fill object just to make sure that he's actually filled with both of those. And then I'm going to come over here and switch over to toy plastic, grab his eyes, and switch over to sort of a grayish color. Actually, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Try about there. And then color, fill object, and then hold down Shift and Control. And now I'm going to, real quick, I'm just going to give him a really quick color just for fun. These are a couple of brushes. I made them, but I made them after watching a Pablo Munez Gomez little class that I did a couple years ago, I think, where he showed how to make these really nice color brushes. I'll have to go and re-watch it so I can give you all an idea of how he did it. It's great. He showed how to make them. But they throw down not just the one color, but sort of different hues. Like it mixes up the hue. And it's hard to see. Yeah, you can see it there a little bit more. And it's set to color spray, so it's... I'm going to go ahead and turn off Mask by Polygroup so I can make sure I'm hitting the ears too. Yeah, they're really, really great brushes. And they really weren't that hard to make. And I'm just going to lay a little base color down on him. Oops. Here, I want to go ahead and mask his eyes so I don't accidentally paint them. just painting sort of a light blue where generally right here is thinner skin, so I'm doing a little bit of blue there on the temple. Around the mouth. And then I'm gonna, now I always leave a little bit so I just know what color I had so I can grab it later. You just drag over and it picks a color. Now I'm gonna blend this. I'm just painting over with the base green color. Not too much because you still want to be able to see undercolors. And let's see. I'm going to come to standard, no alpha, just turn it over to RGB. Just sort of shading in here a little bit. A little bit too much. Need to turn it down a little bit. This is more for fun. I mean, this is really early for putting in any color, but I just really enjoy it. Then you can, keep standard on, just grab one of these random. And you click on there, you can come over here to just spray. And I don't have a lot of resolution on this, so it's not doing a lot. This is more just for fun. I mean, I could come down here and up the resolution. And you want to make sure, like say I were to Dynamesh right now, it's going to switch this over to whatever material I've got there. Oops. Didn't, instead it screwed up the eyes. Yeah, not sure why it's doing that. Here, let me switch. Hopefully this will fix that. I'm going to split the eyes out. And now hopefully I'll be able to Dynamesh. There we go. And that's a little bit more resolution. Just blending this a little bit. Yeah, that's just real quick in here. Hold on. I think these may actually look neater. Make his eyes darker color. Now come back up here. I've now accidentally switched it off. Then color, fill object with material on, so it just filled his head with the other material. Yeah, that's just another head, just really rough. Yeah, just want to, make it. Not sure how to say this. Just want to show that with very, very basic moves, you do the exact same thing every time, and you can end up with significantly different things. You just, at least for me, I go through and I do, eyes, brow ridge, and you just work your way through. And if you make sure that you're doing them all, getting the underlying forms right, you can end up with significantly different looking things, but they all look good. They end up looking right because the underlying forms are okay. That's about it. I'll probably keep putting these things up until people start saying that I should maybe quit putting them up, because there are way too many just random head tutorials up here. But I honestly think it helps. It would help me. It helped me a lot in the beginning, looking at 20 different ones than looking at the same tutorial over and over. So I figure I'll just keep putting these up until I put something else up. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you all have any questions or comments, let me know. Yeah, till the next one. Thanks.